What's up, guys? It's Mott here. Welcome to the Mott Show on a Sunday. I am still traveling. I'm actually at Lake Como right now, up in the north of Italy, but a lot of stuff has happened this morning during the Eagles practice back in Philadelphia. Let's get started with the big news of the day, and that is Myles Jack is retiring. Did anyone see this happening? Retiring. He's done. Said the Dove Climate tweet update. Hashtag Eagles linebacker Myles Jack is retiring. According to Rap Sheet, the former second-round pick by the Jaguars recently said he was considering becoming a plumber or electrician before Philly recently called him, so maybe he'll go back to that, end quote. He told the Philadelphia Eagles this past weekend, really yesterday, that he was going to go ahead and retire, and he is done with football at the age of 27. Seemingly one of the better young, promising middle linebackers in the National Football League, who had a very good career, at least to start with the Jacksonville Jaguars, is now hanging it up after stints with the Steelers and really a week and a half, 2-week stint with the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, you ask him, why, right? Why are you going ahead and retiring now? Well, the writing seemingly is on the wall with Myles Jack. He was not going to make this roster. He was going to be cut. You saw his snap counts diminish for the past couple of days and really big time in that second preseason game. And what's fascinating to me, in all of this being said, is Zach Cunningham is the player rising up and not only taking Myles Jack's spot, but taking Nicholas Morrow's spot and Christian Ellis' spot as well. Tim McManus said today, with training camp winding down, it's Nakobe Dean and Zach Cunningham running with the ones at linebacker to start practice, Blankenship and Edmonds at safety. And so you see here this incredible job by Howie Roseman by signing two linebackers and figuring out who was the better of the two, right? Zach Cunningham, injuries in the past, even though he's prototypical size. Myles Jack, really, really good production early on, just couldn't quite figure things out. And so they go with Cunningham instead. And obviously the retirement of the Myles Jack means Philadelphia, again, saves money, and they're able to go ahead and have two really cheap in Nakobe Dean and Zach Cunningham starting linebackers. So very fascinating there with Philadelphia. Your overall remaining list, as you look at the Jeff Kerr tweet here, of linebackers on this depth chart is Dean and Cunningham, Ellis and Morrow, and then I guess either Kyron Johnson or Ben Van Sumeren, right? This all bottles down to the fact that it looks like Christian Ellis is not going to win the starting job, despite a lot of hype on YouTube, a lot of hype from, I would consider myself a Christian Ellis fan, although I never thought he was going to actually win the starting linebacker job, although until they signed Zach Cunningham, there wasn't really much competition at that spot, but both Nicholas Morrow and Christian Ellis seemingly have fumbled the bag here, and they are not going to be starters at the linebacker spot, barring some sort of either injury or crazy situation where they have a great, next couple of weeks, I guess, but very, very unlikely. And so your two starting linebackers are Dean, the young linebacker from Georgia, and Zach Cunningham, who is absolutely massive in terms of his size. And if he plays like he did way back whenever he was a starting linebacker with the Houston Texans, thumbs up for that. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. Quickly, if you have Venmoed me for the Fantasy Football League and you have not gotten an email from myself or Josh Davis to sign up, let me know down below in the comments section. I want to make sure you guys get in on the Fantasy Football League that's drafting on Sunday. We're almost full, but I want to make sure we get everybody in there, so let me know down below. Okay, other interesting thoughts here. Of course, Philadelphia had a bunch of signing and releasing. You guys saw all that. I'm sure on Twitter, a bunch of the other content creators. Josh Davis played a special show, obviously, my colleague on the Wednesday Link Live. He did a great breakdown of the 10 signings Philadelphia did, most of which are just camp bodies or practice squad bodies, are not going to make the active roster, but they did, as you see from Jeff McClain here, release Ty Zentner, meaning Aaron Sipos is the lone punter in camp yet again. Said he worked on not rushing himself on his punts this offseason, said that was the reason why he had a Super Bowl shank, said immediately after Super Bowl was real tough, took accountability, and Aaron Sipos immediately is going to win this punter job, barring a last-second move, C.J. Gardner-Johnson style by Howie Roseman for a punter. But I think Sipos, again, he was their punter the entire season until he got hurt. Brett Kern came in, was terrible. You guys all know the rest on that one. Sipos seemingly has taken the responsibility. He will keep the job, but I think he'd be a short leash, at least from a punter perspective, to where if he starts to struggle, midway through the season, Philadelphia could either go to the trade or go out to the free agency market and see who they could go ahead and pick up. But Sipos seemingly has won that battle. That makes two in terms of Zach Cunningham and Aaron Sipos, who were in open competitions. And speaking about today's practice, a couple of updates here. Josh Tolentino, he was raving, and he was not the only one, about Sidney Brown in practice today, saying, quote, "Oh my, Sidney Brown, his play recognition right now is bussin'," which, we'll give him a pass on that one. Playing from the box, the rookie safety just terrorized an attempted zone read. Brown was in the backfield and registered a sack on Hurts before the quarterback could make a decision on the football. The defense is going nuts. And he was not the only one saying that. It was also some starter reps happening for Sidney Brown today. Seemingly very, very impressive and very exciting for the young safety who is making a push. Is he going to be the starting safety to start the year? No. Will he play from a starting safety spot at some point during the season? Yes, it seems to be the case. Right now, like we saw earlier from Tim McManus, it was Blankenship and Edmonds, the two starting safeties today on 11-on-11s with the first team. They're still rotating guys in there. Kayvon Wallace is still technically alive. I think they're going to let go of Justin Evans eventually, but Sidney Brown is making big strides, and that is very exciting for everybody involved, for seemingly people like myself who thought it would just be too much too soon for him to win the job. He's getting close. His camp, again, continues to start to kind of wind down. He's getting close, and is getting very exciting. Now, one last starter to go ahead and mention here is Jalen Carter. We obviously know Jalen Carter is a star in the making. We talk about a star is born here. Well, today, Elder Shore Parks has mentioned that he's basically a starter now. He might not be a week 1, snap 1 starter, but he's very clearly going to get plenty of snaps compared to other defensive tackles, which is fantastic news for Philadelphia. I mean, come on. This is exactly what you were hoping with the number 9 overall draft pick. You get the best player in the draft, and he's going to play like it. I mean, he is going to play a vast majority of defensive tackle snaps. He will take some away from Fletcher Cox. He will take some away from Milton Williams. Not that those guys are going to have a reduced snap count, but you can kind of spread it out a little bit more and make sure you get Carter on the field as much as possible. Like it says here, the starting defensive line day 1 will feature Brandon Graham, Hassan Reddick, Fletcher Cox, and Jordan Davis, but very quickly, Davis will be swapped out, and they'll go through a very interesting rotation of a lot of Jalen Carter, some Milton Williams, and maybe some of the other defensive tackles who end up making the roster, which we'll find out, obviously, after the final preseason game. But very good stuff here from Jalen Carter, and again, the fact that he came into camp in shape, and he just not only played well, practiced well, has been a great teammate, has dominated the majority of snaps he's been able to go ahead and take, and has learned a ton from guys like Jason Kelce, Leonard Dickerson, Jordan Mailata, and Lane Johnson. All massive strides. A+ here from Carter. I cannot wait to see what he's able to do on the actual football field, and maybe he'll get some more snaps in that final preseason game against the Colts happening in just a couple of days. Okay, plenty more stuff happening the next couple of days and weeks here. My trip wraps up on Wednesday. I go to the Dolomites tomorrow, do some hiking up there, and then, of course, we're going to go ahead and head back on Wednesday. We'll be back Thursday night. We're obviously going to have the final preseason game, myself and Josh Davis, for a special show. Sure to subscribe and tune in for that. And then the fantasy football draft for all you people who Venmoed myself or Cash App Josh Davis, the $105 to enter. We're almost full on the league with over 30 people going ahead and joining. You have put your name in, and you have gone ahead and put the payment down, but not gotten the invite yet. Let me know in the comment section. We go ahead and get you guys wrapped up. I'm Mott, again, from the mobile studio here out in Italy. Back very